Hi, how you guys doing? My name is Valentina Hills. I am the team lead over at Bad Friend Games, and we made SlugFest Grassroots. And if you don't remember, if it's your first time seeing this game, SlugFest Grassroots is a game that pits mythical slugs against each other in quick turn-based head-to-head strategy battles. You slug it out in these mystical environments, in these head-to-head gastropod combat scenarios, while you unlock powerful slugs, assemble unique strategies and teams, and fight for control of the map. So where we were rather, at the end of the SCAD-Atlanta game jam, we had developed our core gameplay elements and assets on a very sort of basic level. So we had one-on-one slug combat, very local turn-based multiplayer, and we created 4 slug characters, each of them with their own unique mechanics, abilities, art, and animations, as well as a digital environment in which they could slug it out. Moving forward to where we are today, we have developed and polished from some of our previous game mechanics, as well as introduced some new ones, mainly multi-slug teams, so 2-on-2 battles, so you can have all 4 of our current slugs that are implemented in the game at a time. We improved our local turn-based multiplayer, as well as added some unique attack animations and improved on our environment, as well as added sound effects to the game, which is pretty nice. So here's just a quick screenshot of the game. We've also improved the UI, I'd say a few degrees, with some more clear information in terms of what's where, as well as just visually being more appealing, and also being a bit more in theme with our sort of card formats and things along those lines. Here you can see a just side-by-side comparison between where we were at the game jam and then what our UI or what our card interface is looking like at the current moment. And then here you can see some of our attack animations that we've got in the game. On the right, of course, is Goner, my baby boy, my delicate son. And then on the left is 5 points. And then coming up next, we've got some new slugs that we're aiming to add into the game into the future. And this is just, I guess, some teaser promotional stuff for that. So here's Maple, a slug made out of various breakfast items. And they sort of slime along, leaving their syrup all over the ground. And then here we have Slushy, another food-based slug, who's got this nice little cup and cool sort of line-based attacks. So where we're planning on going moving forward, we've got a development schedule that stretches for about 2.5 months, so like 10 to 11 weeks. And we plan on continuing to polish our core game features as well as add more content into the game. Mainly, of course, being more slugs, the one you just saw before. And right now we're also working on a hex grid game board and a movement system. So it'll add a bit more depth to the way the game plays out. On top of this, we want to add some network multiplayer, some visual effects for all of our slugs, and also finally get some Android support so we can start porting to mobile titles. Development of this section is probably going to wrap up around the end of Q2, which is around the end of June. And then we plan on releasing to Steam and mobile titles sometime mid to late July. So SlugFest's strategy-focused sort of head-to-head mechanics definitely skew our target audience towards more competitive players, but our really charming art style and sort of like fun themes around like cute little slugs with magic powers, as well as our plan to release on mobile platforms, I think makes the game a bit more readily accessible for casual players or people from any skill level or sort of competitive dispositions. Similar games, though, or games that use similar mechanics, at least, if you're familiar, especially on mobile platforms like Warhammer Tacticus or Dislight, also tend to fall under the gacha category, which means that these are games, if you aren't aware, that incentivize players to spend money, usually in high amounts, to unlock content that would normally be or is purported to be available for free. Players that don't have the regular funds to spend on these games when new content releases, though, often quit the game entirely. So as part of our market research, we really wanted to try to fill this market gap by offering a more rewarding free-to-play experience without the use of more predatory monetization strategies to try and sort of bring in a big old net to scoop up all these players that end up leaving these other sort of mobile strategy titles because so many of them use this kind of monetization platform. In terms of marketing, we started a few social media accounts for the indie studio, Bad Friend Games, where we're posting videos and updates that cover our progress as well as promote the game as we develop an Android port to proceed with a mobile platform distribution. So far, we set up an Instagram and we're working on, or we have set up a Twitter that we still have to get some content on, as well as a YouTube page. And all of them you can find us at Bad Friend Games. Pretty simple and straightforward. Also, there is where you'll be able to see the gameplay video, which unfortunately I'm not able to show you guys at this current moment. We basically were working up until the wire here because the entire team ended up flying out to GDC, so we got back to finish up the game, and some technical difficulties happened and some files got corrupted, so our gameplay video is unfortunately not able to be shown off to you guys at this juncture, but by sometime tomorrow or maybe early on the 31st, you guys should be able to check out any of our pages to either get the link to our repository to play the game yourself with some friends, or you can play against yourself, I suppose, if you really want to test your mental acuity, or you can just watch the video and get a very similar idea of what our game is like right now. And that's basically it. Thank you so much for your time, and please remember to stay slimy out there. I'm open to answering any questions you guys might have for me. I know that not having the game here to show for you guys is a bit of a bummer, but I promise it will be well worth the wait.
All right. I just went looking for Bad Friend Games on YouTube. Have you put anything up there yet, or that's just the plan?
That's just the plan. Right now, the only active social media account we've got right now is our Instagram.
Yeah, I'd love to see that video up on YouTube when you got up there, and certainly we'll share it. And when you have a playable demo for folks, we'll certainly promote it on out. Just so folks know, they actually have a couple more days to get us all their files before we actually do the judging. So this was just our last chance to really demo the gameplay, and then we figured they would do some bits of polishing for us. We wanted gameplay to be really firmed up now, and they not be trying to get it all done on Friday. So, a number of questions in chat, so let's jump to those. Well, first of all, David Development was unhappy because you made him hungry with all the pancakes. He actually does a dev meetup at a Waffle House in Athens. For all of you in Athens, talk to David Development about pancakes at the Waffle House meetup, but he wasn't trying for that push. I threw it in there. Lucky 13 Ear loves the dessert slug and comments on how creative they all are. David Development also kind of reminds him of Chrono Cross's battle systems, which is pretty cool. A lot of calls for you to go ahead and put this in chat when it is ready, so people can check it out. How do you test the battle mechanics and feel that you've gotten full results? Have you gotten this into the hands of a lot of other people besides your core team?
Yeah. So over this past, over this past week, especially during Game Jam, we managed to do a good bit of testing with both our advisor, Paisley, amazing, also wonderful person. Shout out Paisley. As well as some just random strangers on the GDC floor. And we got a lot of feedback in terms of what the game was lacking and missing while we were there. So even though we weren't able to work on the game directly as much, we were able to get a lot of information and data. And one of the main things was that the kind of static nature of the game, it really was like a SlugFest. Especially at that point in the game, we'd only had one-on-one. It was just kind of like who can do the math the fastest, or who's better at basic addition and multiplication, just because of the way that it essentially worked in terms of just having your ability that does a set amount of damage at a target that doesn't miss. So instead, some of the feedback that we took that feedback rather and began development of just the grid system as well as ability ranges. So once that is fully implemented, different slime abilities will have different areas of effect. And that will add a lot, or it has already added rather, just in our private testing, a lot more depth to the game and the combat system. So we're able to take a lot of our sort of player and mentor feedback into that further development of the game.
Excellent, excellent. Will said, I'm a big fan of the tactics and card battler genre. I love the slug theme. Yeah, can you talk a little bit more? You're not monetizing, you're not making the cards collectible. So this is more of a portfolio piece, right? How would you see monetizing it? Via cards, or how would you do that?
So, one of our sort of core ideas behind this game, a lot of, at least myself, as well as our sort of programming and development team, play card games pretty avidly, like Magic the Gathering, Chaotic, like Pokemon. And the big thing about them is they get incredibly expensive, just incredibly fast. So one of the core things about this game that we really wanted to hammer in as we were developing is to just try to make it accessible and fun, because the worst thing is when you feel like you lost because you didn't have enough money. Like, it's kind of just a bummer to feel. So in terms of monetization for this game, we are releasing it for free, and we're currently doing some more market research as well as talking with a few business majors like here at SCAD about possible alternative monetization strategies that aren't quite as predatory as like gacha games or card games, or just essentially just like gambling for the most part. But in terms of our unlock system and what we're aiming for right now, it's just a standard progression. The more you play, the more slugs you'll be able to unlock. And outside of that, we have no other further plans for monetization, especially on unlocking new content.
All right. Dove Jacobson has a concern that the static nature of the game might make it, wait for it, sluggish. Sorry. I'm sure you've talked about frame rates being sluggish before in this. We had talked before, I think, about a physical card game to go along with this.
Yes. So for our initial sort of jam, when we started prototyping this as a physical card game, and then began digital development. So in terms of where that sort of side of the project is going to lie, it definitely is something that we had to put on the back burner scope-wise in terms of physical production, just because, again, we're wrapping up with finals week, and then the team had to fly out to GDC for like a whole week. Or actually, I guess some of the team actually drove from Atlanta to GDC, so they were gone for a couple extra days. So the physical portion of this game is something that's definitely had to be put on the back burner, so to speak. It is something that we intend to further develop, but at its core, it is kind of becoming something more so that's meant to complement the digital game. Where the physical game is meant to just like be really quick. You can get one of the cards normally at from us, like personally, we don't have any plans to like ship or distribute them. It is kind of just almost like an Easter egg, and you can use the physical cards to unlock the slugs in the game, but the physical version of the game is going to be much more pared down. More so it's just a way to almost market the game to other people or get someone into the concept much more quickly and easily.
Excellent. Good comments about GDC. For those of you in the audience who haven't been to Game Developers Conference, GDC is a great opportunity to get people to try your game. Just ask politely, and if they're not running to meetings, they're almost always happy to. For those of you who were thinking about getting out to GDC, there used to be a thing called the Train Jam, where you could actually get on a train, go to GDC, and make games the whole time. I don't know if that was going on the last time, but another great option for working with your fellow devs. All right. Well, great. Look at SlugFest. You might be out at the High Res on April 11th, so people could actually try this in person.
Yeah, most definitely. Come find us. And if you do, you can get some physical cards as well. Very exclusive Bad Friends merch.
Nice. Yes, for everyone, we're hoping that we'll get most of, if not all of these teams showing off their games April 11th at High Res when we name the winner of the Best in Georgia competition. Root Bear says they'll be out there to show off their game, even though they've dropped out of the actual competition itself. So great opportunity. All right, that was a great look at great products. April 11th is our next Atlanta event. April 8th is the Athens event. David in chat, if you want to say anything about the Bartlett Show's Waffle House, where you're doing that in Athens. Anyone is welcome, whether they live in Athens or not. I know they'll be showing off some VR games, so great opportunity for anyone interested in VR. And yeah, we'd love your feedback on which games, how you thought they improved, which ones you most want to play, and any of that. I'll leave the chat up for just a little bit more so David can put in any promotions he wants for Athens and people can make the comments they want. SlugFest, thank you very much. And,
Yeah, of course.
and-
Thank you so much for letting us present. Remember to stay slimy out there.
All right, take care, everybody.